G'day and welcome to the next episode of Tech Adept Crafts. Thank you very much to everybody who joined us for the live show last week. Much appreciated. To see probably half my year 12 class there was really touching, and I very much appreciated it, guys. Thank you. This week we are looking at this guy, and I will put some photos up so that you can see that a little bit clearer, but the Ogre Juggernaut. This is a Rupert Bones figure, and I think it was from Bones 4, it might have been even Bones 3, the Kickstarters there that I have been supporting for the past sort of 5 years, I think. So today's episode is all about painting him. As you can see here, I have a little bit of a scene set up with some of the trees that I've been painting, the river and bridges that I've been painting. This is just to show how quick and simple it is when you start building up terrain pieces to put on a little scene that you can really get behind it with your D&D games, or I'd even be happy to play Lord of the Rings on this table. I'd be happy to play a lot of little skirmish games in something like this. I think it would be a lot of fun. I'll see you at the end of the show. Cheers. After a black primer spray, we are ready to paint. First thing we're going to do is to paint gunmetal over all the metallic parts of the model. This is armor, the rings on the weapon, the chain links, all of it. Next step is to apply heavy sienna. This is going to go into the joints where you might find the rust starting to appear. We are making this model look very rusty, like as if this armor is well used, very old, and maybe not in such good condition. Next step is Corn Red, which is a base color from GW, and this is layering over the top of that brown. Next layer, Evil Sun's Scarlet. Again, this is just going over the top of all of that rust. Trollslayer Orange is the final color that we are adding to this rust before we start to wash. The next thing is a basic grey paint over all of the base of the model. Now, I probably have a bit of a flaw in that I don't use a miniature holder to do my models, so I do have to touch this grey up as we go, but I much prefer the tactile sensation of holding the model rather than holding a holder. For the mace haft, I'm using Abaddon Black, and I want to make this really dark and menacing, so I have done this with a black which I mix with some of that grey so it's really dark. That's also going on those leather straps. Next, we're going back to Heavy Sienna to do the flesh. As this is an ogre, I am matching this to some of the models that I have bought pre-painted, some of the D&D models pre-painted, and they have brown flesh on them. So I am going with a Heavy Sienna for the flesh of these ogres. First of the washes on the metal. This is Agrax Earthshade, and this is going over all of the armor plating and trying to tie all of that rust together. Second wash on the armor is Nuln Oil. This just darkens it all up. I didn't want it to look too bright, so that's why I'm doing a Nuln Oil over the top of that Agrax Earthshade. It really does make it a much darker looking iron. Using a lighter grey, I'm now dry brushing over the base. This will later get a wash of brown. Back to our gunmetal for a dry brush over the armour. Another dry brush, this time with the Trollslayer Orange. This brings out the rusty look on the edges. So I forgot to show the bottle, but this is Balthazar Gold that I am now dry brushing over the chain links, the mail armor. I'm painting the mail a different color just so it stands out. There's no particular reason why that would need to be gold. It just makes the model look a little bit more varied. Then wash that mail with Agrax Earthshade just to darken it up. Next we go to a violet. I'm wanting to give a really magical but necrotic look for this mace. I very much wanted to have something that was different to normal sort of magical weapons, and I often paint things with either a blue or a green. This one I wanted to go purple. So I pulled out the violet, gradually mixed down to a much, much lighter violet or mauve, and highlighted all of the edges there using a white mix into the violet. I was really happy with how this turned out. It had it is a bit bubblegum looking, but that's fine. I'm looking at a magical weapon on an ogre. Doesn't really matter what it looks like, he's going to hit it hard. You shoved the bone to paint all of the bone. Agrax Earthshade over the bone. This really just blends it through and gives it some depth. I decided to give him glowing eyes, so I've taken here a very light blue and I'm just painting inside those eye sockets, which I then put a blue wash into as well. Just find that makes it a little bit more menacing. For the mace, we now do a Leviathan purple wash. This does make it a little bit shiny. That's okay because I do a spray at the end which takes away that shine. I'd much rather paint the shine on than have it shiny. I am doing the purple over that bone, but then as you can see here, I am wiping it off as well. Here is the blue wash to go over the eyes, just so that blends it through and doesn't make it so bright in the middle. Highlighting up the flesh now with grey, heavy sienna and leather brown. Just some final touch-up highlighting of bone along the face, just to bring that face out. Well, I hope that you enjoyed that tutorial of how to paint the Ogre Juggernaut from Reaper Bones. This model, beautiful model, and you can paint it up a number of different ways. I really enjoy having that very rusty look to something that is big and powerful, but carrying a really cool mace. If you did enjoy the tutorial, make sure that you hit like, hit subscribe, and leave a comment down the bottom. Say something about what you'd like to see me build or paint on this channel. I'll still hopefully get around to doing a tutorial on the Terminator Chaplain for the Blood Angels and for the Antlings that we didn't get to do for the live stream. Anyway, until next time, keep hobbying, and we'll see you in the next episode of Tech Adept Crafts. Cheers!